Hello, this is Tammy Scott, Nursing Home Administrator with BLAHC. This is episode 9, Operation Nightingale. The reason why it's called Operation Nightingale is because of the famous legendary nurse, Florence Nightingale. She was one of the first nurses when it came to being popular as it is today. Plus, when it comes to, nursing diplomas, nursing accreditation, all way back. So there's something that's dear to my heart. I have been, researching on this story for quite some time, ever since the end of last year. There have been a lot of things that have been happening. So I made sure that the research that I've been doing is accurate. And also, I wanted to see exactly how broad and big with this gonna get. So I wanted to talk to you guys about it. There have been over 17 nursing schools throughout the United States that have been listed out giving out fake diplomas. During the pandemic, of course, we had a nursing shortage. Everyone knows that we had a nursing shortage. So a lot of individuals that was out there starting to try to take shortcuts. So during them trying to take shortcuts, these are the things that they were doing. And by them trying to take shortcuts, they eventually got caught. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the case itself and talk to you guys how easy it is to basically get a nursing diploma. So we'll talk about all those good things. But right now, we will get to talking about all the other good stuff around this case. So it all started, I've been hearing it for a while as a nursing home administrator. Of course, I've been hearing it for a while. And, we always look at it like, oh my God, I hope it's not happening. But we know that it's happening. Where, those details now came forward. But it been started that I knew of, but it became very, very huge at the Palm Beach School of Nursing. Palm Beach School of Nursing, of course, is in West Palm Beach in Florida. There was a lot of issues that they have. I have everything right here in front of my face. Because they have more students than a lot of other individuals. But the Palm Beach School of Nursing from West Palm Beach, they did have accreditation with the Florida Board of Nursing in 2017. Until 2017. The reason why they lost a accreditation is due to their low passing rate. There have been at that time it was 3 schools that the Southern basically the Southern Florida Federal Grand Jury found guilty. It was basically the Sacred Health Institute of Florida Lauderdale and also Serena College of Health in Lauderdale Hill, Florida. So in Palm Beach School of Nursing, there have been 25 people charged with wire fraud. And also, these individuals that was charged with wire fraud can get up to 20 years in prison. So, they was giving out illegal licensing and also doing a lot of employment shortcuts. So, like I said, we'll talk about that a little later. But these licenses, the diplomas that they was giving out were basically a registered nursing, LPNs and LVNs. So they was giving out fake diplomas and transcripts. So they was doing both. And what ended up happening is around January the 20th, the school was indicted by the South Florida Federal Grand Jury. They call it the Operation Nightingale because the DA, the Southern DA at the time, he decided that this became a big issue due to a lot of complaints that he received. The president at the school, whose name is Jonna Napoleon, she was the president at the school. She pleaded guilty for conspiracy to commit healthcare fraud and wire fraud in 2022. So last year she pleaded guilty. So not only did she plead guilty, like I said, it was over 25 people that was charged. Most of them was recruiters that was working with the school. So the schools were working, the recruiters, she hired recruiters to help her to find individuals to for students, and also be able to help out them passing the NCLEX. So the exams were taken in Florida, New York, New Jersey, Texas, and also other places, but mostly Florida, New York, Jersey, Texas. The reason why is because certain schools, it's kind of easier in some states more than others based on the Board of Nursing for them to be able to take the NCLEX. So some individuals like to go to the schools that are more easier for them to basically sit down and take the NCLEX. And basically Florida, New York, New Jersey, and Texas was the main ones because of the pandemic. Everybody knows that New York got hit very, very hard. Texas, all of them got hit very hard, plus Florida. So a lot of leniency came with that. And when a lot of leniency came through, they got a lot of loopholes open up. So when a lot of loopholes open up, this right here got affected. So with between those three schools, over 7,600 fake nursing diplomas since 2016 was issued. Yes, you heard it. 7,600 fake nursing diplomas was issued since 2016. Each one of these diplomas range around $15,000. So if you times that, a little over $114 million that these three schools was able to make amongst each other. So like I said, it's got very, 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 very bad. Of course, Texas have now, with the Board of Nursing, have now listed a lot of names of students who have been charged with going around and acquiring fake nursing diplomas. It's a lot of names. Texas is really getting deep down into it, and they are putting the names down on website. You can actually go to the Texas Board of Nursing website, and you will be able to see the list of names. And I don't want to sound kind of negative, but it's my job to report the information. Most of the names that I've seen on there seem like they are Nigerian names or African descent names. They were very, very unique because, you know, as being a citizen of the United States, you know, our names are a little different. You know, some individuals' names are probably different, even if they are citizens of the United States. But you can tell from the names that is listed on the Texas Board of Nursing that these are unique names. Very, very, very unique names. And they are noticeably very, very unique. And most of them are Nigerian names. But Georgia Board of Nursing also have some names as well. They sent out 22 letters, probably more as of now, but of basically students or individuals who receive fake nursing license. So that's the thing on that end. And some of those names are more English. Yeah, you do have that as well. So Florida also sent out, of course, they letters of individuals to let them know that their license and have been, of course, suspended due to having a false diploma. So a lot of people now want to ask, how did that happen? How did that happen? So let me break it down, how it can happen. So basically, an individual, of course, they have the school, and when they have their school, they go and do the, the licensing, accreditation, and all that other good stuff when it comes to it. So they end up finding loopholes in Florida, because it's basically mostly in Florida, in Georgia, Texas, and all the other stuff. They found loopholes. So they was able to create this nursing school. So when they create this nursing school, of course, you have to have nurses that's there to be able to give out clinicals and do clinical trainings and all this other stuff. So these nurses already have their RN license. So then they could say, okay, they're a teacher. So now they could say that they're a teacher, and now you have a school, and now you have teachers that's working with the president to do this. So what end up happening is these individuals, they have websites, they have social media, just like a regular school, and they have recruiters working. So all these individuals that goes to Facebook, social media accounts, who they are probably say, do you want to get your LPN license or RN license during the period of time? So when they ask, do they want to get their license during a period of time, this is what they go to. They'll click on it, the little websites. They say, do you want LPN license or RN license? Click on it, get their information, blah, blah, blah. Recruiter will basically reach back out to them. And when the recruiter reach back out to them, they ask them for their information. And they say, look, a normal LPN school probably lasts this long, or RN school probably lasts this long. But if you pay this amount, we will make sure that your schooling is short term. You can skip over this and skip over that and all this other stuff. So a lot of people who really want to be nurses, they go through this route. They'll go through this route, and when they go through this route, they ask them to send money. Some of these individuals are so happy that they can finally be a nurse. They be so excited and happy, and they were like, yeah, we can do it. So they will send their wire information. So when they send them wire information, account information, they would tell these individuals to take their credit card, or to basically send a cashier check to pay for it. So it will not be able to be traced. It'll go to the bank, but when they take it out of the bank, it won't be traceable. So most of them are using certain type of banks. I have researched, and a lot of them are using the Wells Fargo banks. They are. And I'm sorry, but they are. And so every time each person will basically pay for to send money for schools, they'll send them a different account. So each person will get a different account, and they'll tell them to send it to this account, and they'll take the monies right out. And so they will basically give them hybrid courses. All these courses are basically online. Most of the courses are online. So they'll do these online courses, and some of them probably say, oh, you can come and do clinicals, and they'll probably have a standalone building to do clinicals, but the clinicals are not regular clinicals like you would have in real nursing school. And some individuals don't have to do clinicals. It depends on if you was an LPN, you're now trying to get your RN. They tell you skip over clinicals, but you cannot skip over clinicals. There's one thing you cannot do. So I want everybody to understand, if someone is telling you that you can go to this nursing school and they can cut back on this, that, and the third, and you can take online courses and not clinicals, then it's fake. You have to take clinicals. It's a must. It's very, very necessary. So these individuals are skipping over clinicals. And so when they skip over clinicals, then they tell them, okay, now you're ready to take the state board. They would sign off and say, you are ready to take the state board. They would then send it to the Florida Board of Nursing, who would then sign off on it that they can now take the exam. So they then can go on the website, on the NCLEX website, to take the exam. And they'll tell them to take the exam in New York, New Jersey, Texas, or Florida. So it'd be easier. And the test is easier. You know, a lot of individuals want to go to the place that have the most easiest tests. So those are the ones that they was easy to do because you could do it online and all this other stuff. So they were doing this. They was definitely doing this. And they was doing this way before the pandemic, since 2016, but it just hit hard during 2020 because so many people came through. And a lot of people starting to get of course the state starting to get a lot of complaints. So that's how easy it is. The issue is some of the Florida Board of Nursing would realize that some of these schools need to take away their credentialing, their licensing, due to the fact that a lot of them individuals are failing. You have to have a certain percentage of a passing rate, and some of these schools continue to have a high failing rate, so their license get taken away. And because now it's getting to the point where the tests have been changed. Of course, as you know, when it comes to board testing, they always change up. They change up all the time. So whatever you think the test was 6 months ago might not be the same coming up. So of course, a lot of individuals failing the test because a lot of these individuals were coming from different countries and such, and also in the United States as well. But most of them was coming over here to take tests, and their English language is not up to par for them to understand what's going on in NCLEX. So that's right there would be an issue, and also the lack of clinicals. So if you have a lack of clinicals, and also education as well. So some of these schools, they were lasting like 4 months, 6 months, and really you probably need those 18 months to 22 months to get this information down, to take a national board test. And that's the reason why a lot of them were failing, and some of them did pass the test. And so what happened is, these individuals who pass the test, of course, they get their license, they get a license number, they get all this good stuff, and now they happy that they have their license, and now they can start working. So now the reason why I'm reporting this as a nursing home administrator is due to the fact that these nurses are getting their license. So if they're getting their license and they have a license, when it comes to the nursing home doing the HR and all the other stuff, investigation, they go look up their license number. They actually have a license that came from the Board of Nursing that said it's active, because we have to get with the HR and tell them to pull the license. So if their license is on the Board of Nursing, is right there, you can't argue with it if it's active, because it's right there with the Board of Nursing. So that's how easy it is for someone who have the lack of education, and also the lack of skill sets, clinicals, to come into a nursing home and care for residents, and also a hospital and home care. And a lot of these individuals are going to the nursing homes. They are going to the nursing homes, the hospitals as well, nursing homes, hospitals, and also people homes. We're talking about home health and hospice. So a lot of them would definitely do this. And when they do this, they are collecting a lot of money from these institutions. A lot of money. And they didn't have to do much. So you invested $15,000 for this diploma, for you to basically get like almost $3,000 to $4,000 every 2 weeks. And if you were traveling, $3,000 to $4,000 probably every week, $2,000 every week, somewhat like that. Plus if you are RN. So Yeah. So that is an investment, and you automatically get that money back ASAP. Plus, during the pandemic, they got that money back ASAP. So if RNs um, got their license around 2016, and you talking about it's 2023, a lot of them could be nursing managers by now. A lot of them, some of them could be, some of them could be nursing managers. So it could be definitely an issue with that. Now you have these individuals of management and director, positions. So that's how it can get done. How they got caught was there was an undercover student. The undercover student went to one of the workers that was working at Palm Beach School of Nursing. She wanted to, she was inquiring about the school. And basically they told her what to do with the school. They was telling her that this original school would take 22 months, and that if she wanted to skip over that and to get a quicker diploma, she had to pay $15,000. So of course she's undercover, and she paid the $15,000. And when she paid the $15,000, of course they had her to basically go to the schooling, not for that long, without clinicals. And they told her she didn't have to do clinicals. And she got to see for herself how quick and easy it was for her to basically sit for the NCLEX. And it was very, very easy for her. So I do want to talk about, my my experience as a nursing home administrator. So I'm an honest individual. I'm on open book, and so I had an interim assignment. When I had an interim assignment, I was at a nursing home, and one of the ladies, of course, I continued to have to tell her about training, medication training, making sure we talk to her about certain things, because it's my job as a nursing home administrator to make sure that the carts is A1, and also are they following the medication administration policy. So I'll go look to actually see them actually pass their medication. So of course one of the residents kept coming to me about certain things. So I decided, let me go investigate this situation. So I went and I talked to her, and she was an RN. She was on the floor. They had on a cart. So I brought her in and I spoke to her about it, and I asked her. I said a couple of questions about it. So she answered me, and it was off. It was like totally like, it was too off. And I had to ask her, and I had to ask her. I said, okay, me and her was talking, and she was like, Miss Tammy, they have me as an RN supervisor, and they just basically had me here because they just needed RN hours. And of course, me trying to understand her, I had to ask her, so how long you been an RN? So how long have you been an RN supervisor here? And she started giving me the answers, and I said, okay, so what were you doing before you became the RN supervisor, the unit manager? And basically, she was like, I said, so what did you do before then, before a unit manager? I said, was you a charge nurse? Was you over the cart? She was like, I didn't have to work the cart ever. I never had to work the cart ever. I said, you never worked the cart? She said, no, I never had to work the cart. I was like, that's strange to me. So I asked her, I said, okay, so you never worked the cart before? She said, no, I never worked the cart before. So it's a lot of stuff that I have to retrain myself. I was like, I want this weird to me. So as I was talking to her, I said, okay, I started asking her about her schooling. I said, so before you was a RN, you was an LPN. So of course you had to work the cart then. She was like, no, most of the time when I was a LPN, I was just a case manager. So I just stay at home and I could just, answer the phones and do all that from home. I mostly stayed at home as an LPN. I really didn't do anything or working in hospitals before then. I said, huh? So you told me you never worked in the hospital and did clinicals ever? She said, no, most of it was an LPN. I did most of the things on the phone. So I said, so how did you get your RN license, if you don't mind me asking? And she told me, she was like, it was a school for me to take, and it didn't take that long, and I just had school for like 4 months. And I said, but you have to do clinicals, right? She's like, no, I didn't have to do clinicals. She was like, no, I just went to New York and took my test and I passed and I was an RN. I was like, huh? I was like, I know I haven't been out of school that long. I was like, that don't sound right to me. And I just got there as an interim. I just got there. And I said, that don't sound right to me. I said, so you went to LPN, RN fast track? She said, yes. And I asked her what the name of this school. I never forget the name of the school. And she said it was called Eroded. So I said, okay. She was like, I was able to do it. And, I sent them the money and I did the online classes. I finished it. And they told me now I can go and sit for my exam, and I didn't have to do clinicals. And I thought that was weird. So I said, if in order for you to know how to give shots, take blood, and all this other stuff that what RN does, not an LPN, how are you able to do that without clinicals? I said, you need to know how to do certain things. There's certain things that RNs can do that LPNs cannot do, plus when it comes to nursing home. So how are you able to do these things if you've never been trained or did clinicals? She was like, I never had to do it. So when I came into the nursing home, they asked me to be a unit manager, so they needed my RN hours. And I was like, sure, okay. And they went up on my pay, so I accepted it. And but it's a lot of stuff that I don't know, and I thought that was weird. And I told her, I said, well, we have an issue because we continue to get a lot of complaints about you on the cart. So I kept trying, I always kept talking to her, and I think that was like my third time talking to her about the cart. And she was like, Miss Tammy, I just think that I'm ready to just, get off the cart. I think I'm just ready to, I don't think I should be an RN supervisor or a unit manager. I think it's just too much for me. And I said, well, I understand if you feel like it's too much for you, but I also need you to understand that, that it might be a lot for you, it might be too much for you, but you don't have the basic skills as an LPN as well, because the basic skills as an LPN should know how to be a charge nurse and know how to work the cart. And most of this stuff is basic skills for LPN. And I said, you're having a difficult time functioning as a LPN here. And I'm going to need you to, if you don't want to be a RN supervisor, unit manager, only thing there is a charge nurse. And the issues that I'm having with you are based on charge nurse duties as an LPN. And so it's going to be an issue. And she said, I totally understand. Well, and we both, we talked with the HR right there, and we thought that it was a great fitting that, you know, she no longer worked at that facility because she did not have the basic knowledge or skills to be able to function as a LPN or a charge nurse on the cart or a nursing supervisor. And I just felt like that was very dangerous because me continuing to have to speak to her about the cart situation. And we both agreed, and she was like, yes, Miss Tammy, I definitely agree. So she was like, I think I want to go back and be a nurse and case manager. I could just stay at home and just be on the phones. And I told her, I said, I definitely understand that, and I appreciate your honesty. And I hope that you get the skills and everything that you need for you to be the best nurse that you could be. And she was like, I totally understand. But I told her, I said, but you do need clinical skills. You definitely need clinical skills. And for you not to ever work in a hospital, that's something that you probably want to get your experience in when you're going and doing nursing home and hospital things. You really need to get your skills up. And she agreed to get her skills up. So I just want people out there to understand that things like that can happen. So I want to talk to you guys about also other schools. So let's talk about other schools. So now we're going into part 2. So now this is part 2 where we're talking about the schools. So after she told me about the school Erudit, I said, let me look it up. So I decided to look up Erudit. So when I looked it up, it's E-R-D, I think it's E-R-D-U-I-T-E. Erudit. No, E-R-U-D-I-T-E. Sorry. E-R-U-D-I-T-E. Erudit. So I looked up the school. They had a whole website, everything to the T. So I said, let me call this school and see what's going on. So I called the school to see what's going on. And when I called the school to see what's going on, of course they have a recruiter. So they have a recruiter, and she was basically got in contact with me, and I want to ask her about the online schools and how do they do clinicals. And basically that's what they do. They like fill out this application. You fill out an application, and they say, okay, do you want to be LPN, RPN, all this other stuff, and they give you these courses that you're supposed to do. But before you can enroll into these courses, you have to pay the money. And I told them, can they give me a breakdown on their, the syllabus? Because I want to know what are they teaching the students. So I said, can you give me a breakdown of the syllabus? Give me a breakdown of the program. And they gave me the breakdown of the program in the syllabus. I said, so where's the clinical? I said, so where are you guys based off? They said they was based off in Georgia. So I decided to look up to see could I find the building. The building was not there. They was not there in their building. But then they said that they had another location in Tampa. So I was calling Tampa to get a reach for some individuals in their building, and I could not do so. See, the issue is when you call a number and someone would already be on the phone to ask if they are in Tampa, and they not in Tampa. So every time you call to speak to someone, they will answer as if they are in Tampa, but they not in Tampa. And you can kind of tell when you talk to that person on the phone, like, this is weird. It sound weird. Because, me graduating for school, college, I know the difference. So I was like, nah, this is weird to me. So I asked them about their clinicals. They could not give me details about their clinicals. So that's when I knew it was a red flag. A red flag. They had LPN school, LPN to RN. They was like, after you finish LPN school, you can automatically go into the RN and you pay the extra money for RN school, or you could pay it up front. And they want you to send it to a wire fraud, not wire fraud. They send you to a wire account, and you send the money to there, so it can automatically go into a Wells Fargo account. And I thought that was weird. I was like, this is weird. So I ended up sending an email because they had an email of who is the president, her name, and all this other stuff. So I ended up finding out on LinkedIn, and I also ended up searching her information and finding out an email. And basically, I sent her an email to let her know that I feel like this is a fraud. I really, really think this is a fraud. I was doing this in 2020. I did this in 2020. And I said, I think this is a fraud. This is a huge, huge fraud. And I was like, no school does this. No school does this. I was like, no. I said, because they only accept cashier checks, or they'll get it off your credit card. And some of them say they don't want to do credit card, that they'll only do a debit card. So that's how I really knew it was weird. And I was looked up their location in Georgia, and then I couldn't find the building. So I was like, this is definitely crazy. So when I go to their social media accounts, of course, every school have a social media accounts where you see students. So as I was going to their social media accounts, I started looking at fake pages. These pages look fake, like these fake people, like these fake smiles. It don't look like a real school in the back. It just looked terrible. Like, I know what a nursing degree diploma look like. I'm like, this is not it. Like, they had fake students with fake degrees holding up the thing with a fake diploma. It's just awful. It just looked fake. It all looked fake to me, and I knew it was fake. So when I click on the fake students' accounts, they were like, I have a degree here. I have a degree. This is a great place. I click on account, and it wasn't an actual person. Like, you could tell it's an actual person about how many people they have following them, their pictures and everything. And this person only had one picture, and they said this is a private account, or it'll be an open account, and they don't have any other pictures. And it'll be like different races. And it was like, this is fake. This is totally like so fake. Fake more than fake. So I ended up contacting the Georgia Board of Nursing. I did. I ended up finding out who was the head of the Georgia Board of Nursing. I seen her name. I reached out to her on LinkedIn. She ended up calling me back. This is a true story. She ended up calling me back in 2020. I ended up talking to her. And when I talked to her, I told her of my disbelief and what was going on. And she was like, Tammy, I'm so happy that you called me, because it rooted is not with the Board of Nursing, Georgia Board of Nursing. They continue to fraudulent tell people that they can take courses and classes and online and everything, and they can sit for the exam, and they cannot. So she said, if anyone come through the Georgia Board of Nursing, the routing is not on our list. So if they said they went to their school, then it would be fake. So there's a reason why Rooted then will have them to go to Tampa, Florida, which then they'll change the name into a different school, so they'll be able to sit for NCLEX. Because she kept saying they could sit for NCLEX, the president of Rooted. I said, no, they cannot. Because the Georgia Board of Nursing say they do not recognize you guys. So if the Georgia Board of Nursing do not recognize you guys, that means no one can sit for the NCLEX. No one can. And so that's what I kept doing. And I end up reporting Iruna. I end up going to doing all that. I end up reporting them. And I also let the Georgia Board of Nursing know that. And I also contacted Florida Board of Nursing to speak to them about the situation. And they also said that right there was crazy. And so when another lady, I was able to go on social media. They had recruiting for a group for the students, and I spoke to the lady, and she was like, "Yeah, they scammed me out of $15,000." I'm like, "They scammed you out of $15,000?" She was like, "Yeah, it's other students as well." And we talked about it, and I was like appalled. I was like, "What?" Then the president of Rooted ended up sending me an email with other students on there, CC'd, that she was like, the school is a great school, and it's a real school, blah blah blah, whatever whatever. So when she ended up sending that to all the students, and she CC'd everybody on it, I end up taking those students off their CC, and I end up putting them on a BCC as another email to ask them have it been a fraud, because I think they've been scammed. And they sent me back emails stating that they have been scammed. And I have gotten so many individuals to this day that say, "Miss Tammy, I've been scammed. I feel so bad. I gave these people $35,000, $30,000, and all this other stuff." And that's where I asked them. I said, "So how does this work? Do you send them a wire transfer?" And that's how I know more of the details when it comes to how it can happen, because these individuals actually scammed for $35,000. So when they were scammed for the nursing, they was actually having me to understand that it went to the Wells Fargo bank, and how it was a wire transfer, and that she sent different wire transfers because she didn't have the whole $35,000. She broke it up based on payments, and they always gave her a different account number. And but she was so excited to do it, and she passed it. She did everything, and she also got her friend to do it. And her friend went all the way to RN, the whole thing, and her friend paid almost $40,000. And I told her, I said, she's not going to be able to sit for the board of nursing. I said, she's not going to be able to sit for NCLEX. She's not. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even believe it. And she started crying on the phone. And she was like, "Tammy, I don't know how I'm going to be able to tell her that she's not going to even be able to sit down, because I even told her to do it, and I told her to go before me." And she went all the way. And she was like, she spent way more money than I did. And now I got to call her and tell her that she's not going to even be able to sit for NCLEX or nor get her money back. Because she said she went all the way to Tampa, Florida. She said she flew to Tampa, Florida to look for that building. And she said that the building that the individuals was leasing, they no longer was there. That the leasing owner of the building was still looking for them, and said they took off. They took off and they went back to a different country. She can't even find them at all. And so she said the owner of the leasing building been looking for them for years. And she said she felt so bad. And she contacted me when she got from the flight, when she got home, and she just felt so bad that that building was not there. And I told her, I said, "I'm so sorry that you went through whatever you went through." I said, I apologize, but this is how you'll be able to report it. And I showed her how to report it. So a lot of those individuals found out how to report it, because I was speaking to all the individuals in Georgia about the situation. So they gave me the information for them to contact, and they contacted them to let them know exactly what's going on. So now you guys say all that happened. Now tell me, by them having their license or they don't have license, what happens? Do they get their money back? Do they not get their money back? As you can see with the Texas Board of Nursing, these individuals who took the shortcuts are being charged. Their license have been taken. They have also been charged. Some individuals in Florida have not been charged. because a lot of them have been, you know, taken advantage of. So I guess it depends on their situation. But if they went to any one of these schools, their license have been taken. So all this time as they working for a nurse, they no longer can work for a nurse. So if they went to a school, accreditation school that's still up as an LPN, and they then went to another school that's RN, they take the RN license, but they still have the LPN license. But at the same time, by them working as an RN under a fake RN license and they being charged, most likely they took the LPN license away. So that's what a lot of this is coming from. So it's terrible. It's really, really bad, and it's really, really terrible that you have individuals who probably was LN, who went to accreditation school for LPN, who then went to one of these schools for RN, and now they've been charged. So everything is going to get taken away from them due to them going through this process. And some of them probably got taken advantage of, and because they were so excited to be a nurse. So a lot of these individuals, you know, a lot of them say, well, they should know. They should know. A lot of them be so excited that they don't understand that the only way you can get your license if the board of nursing signed off. But the thing is with these schools is they found a loophole on how to get their name on the board of nursing, so they could be able to sit for license for the NCLEX. But the issue is Palm Beach School of Nursing lost their license in 2017. 2017. They were still being able to allow individuals to sit for the NCLEX. So how do you do that knowing that you don't have the Board of Nursing approval? You don't have the Board of Nursing approval. You need the Board of Nursing approval to sign off to say that they could do that. So now this is where it's certain individuals that behind closed doors that was able to, you know, make this happen. And that's the reason why a lot of these individuals have been charged. So a lot of this crazy stuff have been happening. So I just want to apologize to all the victims of this situation and all the individuals who have taken advantage of the schooling, people money and all this other stuff. Of course, I don't feel bad because you took these people money. You guys took their money. Y'all took advantage of them. Not only did you guys take advantage of them, you allow these individuals to go to these institutions, not have the knowledge or skills, abilities to be able to function properly as an LPN or RN or LVN, and they put a lot of individuals at risk. And there probably be some cases out there where individuals probably have been put in risk and their names are on it, and we just don't know. So I just want to say that I apologize to the real victims of the situation and all the residents or patients of these individuals who did not have the skill sets to be able to care for them properly. This case is still going on. This is an open investigation. So I would definitely stay on this case, and I will basically let you guys know what's going on this case as it continues to proceed. So thank you guys for watching. This is episode 9, Nightingale operation, where over 17 schools have been listed out, giving out fake diplomas and transcripts to nurses like RNs, LPNs, LVNs. A lot of individuals have been charged. Like I said, I am on this case. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys, this was very, very informational for you guys. So like I said, thank you guys, and please watch, go and watch the other episodes. Subscribe on my YouTube. Make sure you type in BLAHC, BLAHC, And make sure you also follow us on all platforms. Yes, this is new podcast. I'm very new in podcasting, so I'm trying to get better. So please, please, please comment, like, share, and all the other good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you. Bye.